Yo, 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 what's up, Sooner fans? This is your host, Jeremiah Hall, formerly number 27 on the field, but always number 1 in your hearts. Here with me today, you know who it is, my right-hand man, number 9 on the field, our captain and fearless leader, the number 9, Brayden, Weight Room Willie Willis. And this is the podcast on the Prairie. B. Willie.
Jake.
Bro, I'm still waiting on you to go out there this weekend and do what you need to do, bro, because you know the tweet I got saved up. We didn't talk about this before, but we talked about it a little bit last week. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a tweet that I think might do numbers. And Brayden just didn't have that moment last week, so let it be known. I'm coming off hot at the beginning of the pod, bro. I hope you've had a great week of practice.
Oh yeah, we have. Don't worry about it.
We're gonna talk a little bit about Baylor a little bit later. But first things first, my brother, are you having a good week?
Before we get into the episode, we want to talk about, you guessed it, the amazing folks at Plainview Legal. Jeremiah, remember growing up in youth football, you do a little bit of everything. Play quarterback, O-line, safety, little linebacker, maybe even kicked a little bit.
Those were the days, man. And that is actually the perfect way to describe our presenting sponsor, Plainview Legal. Plainview does it all in the world of property and business law. This includes matters in eminent domain, inverse condemnation, real estate transactions, oil and gas title examination, adverse possession, quiet title, and other boundary disputes.
Plainview Legal also handles estate planning and probates, from simple wills to proving undue influence. Additionally, their attorneys will negotiate, draft, review, and litigate all kinds of commercial contracts for individuals and businesses across various industries throughout Oklahoma.
Haley and Travis Dennis are married and own Plainview Legal. They are Sooners through and through and love helping Sooner Nation with all the things we just talked about. To schedule your free consultation, visit their website at www.plainviewlegal.com. Give them a call at 405-310-0183 or email them at info@plainviewlegal.com. Please see the show notes for important disclaimer information.
I'm having a great week.
Any roles this week?
I'm having a great week. Man, I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday, I don't know what it was, but I felt really, really good. Yesterday being Tuesday, today is Wednesday, the day we're recording. I felt really good at practice yesterday. Don't know what it was at this point in the season. Typically, as you can attest to, most of the times your body is like, kind of messed up at this point in the season, broke down a little bit. You're battling some injuries. But, man, yesterday I had a great practice, and I think it's because I just got out there and I just felt really, really good. I was like, wow, my body feels great today.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's, a testament to my recovery over the last couple of weeks, but I just felt really good.
I think I know the answer to this, but because you're a fifth-year captain and everything, are you getting the Kenneth Murray treatment? Like, get 30 tackles after one game and then you kind of like chill the rest of the week and you're kind of cooling during practice, or like they got you working out there a little bit?
It depends. During the bye week, a little bit. We got some freshmen, like Caden and Jason, that kind of need to get some reps in. You know what I'm saying? You know how football is. You never know, what can happen. So you always want to be prepared and, obviously prepare them for, the years to come. So we got some guys that we need to get reps in, and we get reps in practice, obviously. So it is a little bit, more chill than past years when it was just, us three in the room, me, you, and Stog, and then there was us rotating, you know what I'm saying? And it was just us. Yeah. So it's a little bit more chill than that. So I would say so a little bit. I still get my reps in. I don't duck any work or nothing like that. But, Joe John takes care of me. If it's a route where it's like I just rent, like, how sometimes we have to repeat a play. We messed up on a play or something like that. We repeat a play. Get one of the young guys in there. If it's a long route or something, they do a good job of taking care of me, I would say.
So basically, bro, is you're having a great time at practice is what I'm hearing.
Oh man, hey Jay, you would love practices these days. I'm not even just from a that standpoint. Just practices are fun, man.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just fun, competitive, and they're just really fun. We have a good time with the offensive staff. You know what I'm saying? It's like a great mixture of competitive focus and having fun. You know what I'm saying? Lebby incorporates a lot of little jokes every now and then, and you know what I'm saying, get the guys laughing and you know what I'm saying? We don't gotta be serious all the time. It's live life, enjoy the doing. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing for us is just to enjoy the process right now. So
that's good
you
stuff.
would love it, man.
I was gonna say the practice segment for a little bit later, but let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit more. We'll do a switcheroo this time around. We talk a lot about Venables and his leadership and what all he's done over the course of January, right? But very rarely do we talk about Lebby and Joe John and the rest of the gang. I know Joe John personally. I've met Venables, but I haven't had too many conversations with Lebby. One thing I can say from the few conversations that I have had is he always seems like a positive guy, but he will address negativity and will get on to you when needed. Those are the first two things that kind of pop off. He doesn't come off as an a-hole or anything like that. And the second thing I can tell from his play calling is that bro just doesn't he cares, but he's gonna call what he's gonna call. Tell me if I'm wrong. He has faith in his guys. He has faith in his system. No matter whether it be fourth down, third down, he's consistently calling reverses that involve counter. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was a game plan thing last week, but I saw it a couple of times, and most coaches wouldn't call that more than one, maybe two times in a game. He's calling certain plays, and I'm just like, man, this guy is creative. Sometimes on Twitter, people are like, get rid of Lebby or what is up with the offense? And I'm just like, bro, he is bringing everything out of his bag, full force, depleting the whole playbook. And I'll let you answer this after this statement. One thing I didn't like towards the back end of my career is that we would install, and you can attest to this as well, we would install all of these plays and we would only stick to maybe 40% of the total package. And I completely hated that because coincidentally, the other 60% included the H-backs and our good plays and everything that I was looking forward to. So I remember sitting in the hotel the night before a game, and my dad always checks in on me. He's like, hey, how you doing? What you thinking? And I would tell him, especially towards the back end of my career, man, I have no clue how this game is going to go, but I'm pretty sure we're going to win. So I'm happy to see, obviously, you more involved, but I'm proud. Well, I can't say proud because it's not like I knew Lebby beforehand, but I like the way he opens things up. So what is your perspective of him as just a person, not even a coach, but what he does on a day-to-day?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, going back to, the beginning of the year, all the way back to January, he's one of the main reasons that I came back. Obviously you got BV up there and, that's my guy. And I had conversations with him and, I was like, man, I would love to play for this guy. So obviously that's that. And then, it helps having your position coach stay, with, Joe John out there, having him stay, that was big, that was big for me as well. But then also, it's the fact of who's going to be the offensive coordinator now, because now you don't have a head coach that's going to be your offensive coordinator. Right. So it's okay, now who's the offensive coordinator? I got to build a relationship with him. Lebby gets hired. Right. And we immediately start having conversations. And from the jump, it's like we had knew each other. I say this a lot, but it's in a lot of these situations, it's true. It felt like I had known him for 5 years. Get on the phone, easy to talk to, real cool. Almost it almost feels like like having him as a coach almost doesn't feel like having like an authoritative figure. It almost feels like that's just like your big brother or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of relationship that he has with his guys. And then I feel like that creates an even tighter bond. So when you say that, you know, he's going to call what he want to call, and you know what I'm saying? It's because he has trust in his guys. You know what I'm saying? He knows we're going to make plays. He has full trust in his guys, and he's like, well, hey, third and long, we're going to call an option route, be will, make something happen. That's literally what be going on through his mind. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate having, you know, at this part of my career, having a guy that trusts me as much as he does, as well as a quarterback that trusts me as much as our quarterback does. And then, you know, someone that just is like, hey, you know, go win, you know. It's just, you know, that relationship is just like we take advantage. Like if I didn't have this, like, you know, period of time where I didn't have that, I probably would take advantage of something like this. But now that I've seen both sides of it, I can't take advantage of it. It's really nice having, you know.
Brayden, it's Halloween weekend, right? And in the spirit of things, let's talk about things that are scary. A sold-out night game at Memorial Stadium. Marvin Mims, one-on-one coverage. Brayden Willis coming on a downhill block. Danny Stutzman chasing you down.
Or how about trying to tackle EG in open space? Jalen Redmond with a free shot to the quarterback, or Schmitty when you're late for a workout. Definitely Schmitty when you're late for a workout.
Bro, those things are all scary. But you know what shouldn't be scary? Buying a home. And it isn't scary with our friends Phil and Thelene Webb at Webb Properties Group.
They take all the fright out of home buying and will be your real estate partners throughout the entire transaction. To learn more, call them at 405-322-5632.
On top of that, high interest rates are spooky, but the McDaniel Mortgage Group will set you up with loan options that won't haunt you. Call Matt McDaniel at 214-435-9855 or visit www.appwithmatt. That's appwithmatt with 2 T's to get pre-qualified now.
Red Properties Group and the McDaniel Mortgage Group will team up and get you a beautiful home that you will enjoy for years to come.
I like the exchange that you say he has with his players, specifically the older guys and you. When you have somebody in a position of power and they're making all the decisions, over time, in my opinion, I feel like the people, as in the players, the people that you're commanding or you're leading as a leader, they slowly start to lose interest because they don't have feedback or they don't have input. Input is the word I'm looking for, because when there is an exchange going on, it makes it feel like you're more involved. It makes it feel like,
right,
hey, my ideas contribute to the success of this team. Mm-hmm. And I didn't always feel that in the last offense. Now, granted, we had a great OC, in my opinion.
Right.
I felt like he just did a great job overall. And so maybe we didn't require that. But regardless of whether the OC is Lincoln or anybody else in the country, that exchange is important, because now you've gone from player who is traditionally a subordinate, feels like more of a coworker, and you're now fighting for each other to get the win.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what you feel, because that's what it sounds like. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how I feel. I think you put it better into words than I could possibly put it. You know, it's funny. I'm in grad school and psychology, you know, and there's a class I'm taking. It's a leadership class, and we learned something that you just said. It was like, you know, when you give, you know, kind of the people under you kind of, you know, intent to do stuff, and, you know, a little bit of freedom, and everybody can contribute, it overall makes the whole like operation just a lot smoother. You know, guys want to work harder. Guys, you know, feel like you actually believe in them, and, you know, things like that. So I completely agree with what you said. And it's just not me, obviously. You know, it's other older guys, you know, on the offense. we have great relationships all across the board, and he just does a great job of putting us in position to make plays. So it's really nice, man. I won't take, something like this, take advantage of something like this. I mean, for example, we're in practice, a couple weeks ago, and he's like, we run a play. He's like, how about that, 9? And I'm like, yeah, I like that. And he's like, first play of the game? I'm like, yeah, get me going. He's like, heard you. And it's like, yeah, that's, what I'm saying? Like that's like, I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, that looks good. What you think? Yeah, I'm messing with it. Okay, first play of the game, let's do it. It's just stuff like that just make you want to, you know what I'm saying? Now I know, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta, it starts with me. Let's get it going. So
I will say this is what makes a regular coach to a player. We always hear the term a player's coach. This is what makes a player's coach. And for those of you who don't know, our fans, I do a lot of reading. Me and Brayden talked about it previously, but since I have a lot more time now, I've significantly increased the amount of scripture and books in general that I read. And this is what I've been learning in terms of business. This is how I'm going to relate it to football using business terms. The biggest difference between an entrepreneur and an owner is that one creates systems and the other one runs the system. Okay, think about that. An entrepreneur is a business owner, but at the same time, they are in charge of running the business, right? An owner, so Jerry Jones, thinks like an entrepreneur, but also thinks like a systems manager who manages the systems of these entrepreneurs. And so a coach coaches his players, right? That's the entrepreneur. A player's coach coaches his system. So he encourages his players to coach each other. And this is where that exchange comes in, that exchange between the players and, hey, what do you think? I think this, coach. Okay, we're going to run with that. And then next thing you know, you're looking at Marvin and you're like, hey, Marvin, make sure we do this. And it flows down the chain of command. So I'm glad that you feel comfortable around Lebby. And honestly, it's noticed from experienced guys, at least. I see it on the field, whether the offense is doing good or bad. So glad we can talk about Lebby for a little bit, throw him his flowers, and shout out to the offense, because I feel like as offensive guys, sometimes we like stray away from the offense just because we know that we can talk about that anytime. Like we've had Deshaun, we've had we just had Danny. Maybe we need to get back on the offense a little bit more, but shout out to Lebby and the way that he coaches his players. Hey, B. Willie, who do you think the smoothest man on the team is with the ball in their hands?
It's got to be Eric Gray, man. Eric Gray gets the ball in his hands. He's silky smooth, cuts with ease. Really, just really smooth, man. Just makes, moving around look easy.
Bro, it sounds like EG is just like Freebird grooming. He sounds specifically like the Flex Series electric shaver. Now, this shaver provides baby smooth shaves, bro. As a bald man, it's important to keep things smooth, and that's why Freebird is on a mission to make life easier for guys just like me.
Gentlemen, if you're still using an old school razor to shave your head, don't. Razors were designed to shave flat surfaces, not curved domes. They can cause painful nicks and cuts, and razors actually shave too close, often under the skin, so the hair comes back as uncomfortable, irritating ingrowns.
I can attest to all of that. I wish I knew about Freebird earlier, because they sent us a care package, and it actually works. The holidays are coming up, and if you need a gift for your bald partner, brother, dad, friend, podcast co-host, or maybe you just want to treat yourself to a luxury shaving experience, Freebird is for you.
Freebird is giving our listeners an exclusive discount. To cash in, visit myfreebird.com/pray for 20% off. That's myfreebird.com/pray for 20% off today.
The next thing I want to look at is something that I actually read this morning. And this was supposed to go at the beginning of the segment, but I wanted to throw in a little bit of scripture because it was on my heart. So here it goes. I'm coming from First Philippians 16. Okay, this will be short. All right. This is talking about Paul, and right now he's currently in prison. He says, because of my imprisonment, most of my believers here have gained confidence and boldly speaks God's message without fear, right? And just something real quick. So because of Paul's willingness to spread the word of Jesus Christ around, he was put in prison, right? And I say that to say, look at what Paul sacrificed. Look at what Jesus sacrificed for us. Like, Paul was in prison. Jesus died on the sins. I mean, Jesus died on the cross for our sins. And what can we learn from that, right? Don't ever think that you sacrificed too much to get to where you are, because ultimately there is somebody who made a greater sacrifice than any one of us could ever make. All right.
No doubt.
So that was supposed to be my motivational Monday that I sent out to my close circle of friends, my family, and stuff like that. So that was Mondays. I sent a little bit of something every day. I figured I could use that for this week's, but yeah, don't be afraid to make sacrifices. I kind of, when I was reading that, I was like, this kind of reminds me of the tweet that I made about being present not too long ago, in terms of being where your feet are.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain extent, you could say that, man, I wish I was a little bit different. But on the flip side, I could also say I had to do that to get to where I am right now.
Right.
So that's my motivation for the week.
I like it. I mean,
like
much like the fans, I look forward to these as well. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I should create a those things that you can text and then like you'll get like an automatic text message back.
Mm-hmm. Like how we have, I don't even know what they're called and stuff.
Yeah. All right, y'all, moving on to the next segment of the show. First, we're going to be talking about the Michigan player brawl fighting situation, and then we're going to go into the college football playoff top 25. All right, so first off, to even know what we're talking about, guys, you have to have seen the video, okay? Just go type in Michigan fight or Michigan State fight. I'm pretty sure it'll be the first thing to pop up on Twitter. Brayden, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
Bro, what happened? Situation, what, like, why?
Man, I just think that, okay, so I think that was poorly managed by the facility, and I think that the facility in general is just, the layout of it is just could be better. Okay. Now don't get me wrong. That don't give an excuse for Michigan State, or what they did and everything like that at all. But I will say, when you got two teams coming up the ramp at the same time, it really don't make a whole lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially in a rivalry game, Now, I will say that, but Texas and us both go out the same ramp during the Cotton Bowl, right? But like I said, it's better managed because we like, most of the time they'll have them go out first and then we'll come out, and then they got people down there to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was nobody in there but like staff members of either team. There was like barely any security to, like, when we come down the tunnel for OU Texas, in the Cotton Bowl, like there's like 100, 200, like, you know what I'm saying, different people in that tunnel. There's just a bunch of people. Like, that's not really going down. That might be a little, you know what I'm saying, shouting match or a shoving match or something like that, but a full-on brawl is not going down.
Yeah.
So
I feel the same way. I blame the coaches and the facility people. One, and two. Well, first off, no player should be swinging. I blame the players. The players' self-responsibility is first. But outside of that, yes, the facility, the coaches, and to restate what you just said in terms of us, because that's what I was comparing it to when I was talking to people about it. I'm like, bro, our locker room during the shootout is right next to each other. Why are they acting this way? And it's not like they haven't played a home game before and have probably run into this situation. You know what I'm saying? We face that once a year. They have to deal with it every home game. Right. So players are now suspended. Charges can possibly be pressed. Like, I'm not gonna lie. If I was that kid, I'm pressing charges, bro. Like, you're swinging at me with I don't have a helmet on. Why are you swinging at me with a helmet? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's now a weapon. You know, it'd be different if it was a fair one or something. You know what I'm saying? Put your hands up, locker room type. Like, let's get down. You know, but a helmet, bro, like, you can one wrong hit and I'm dead. Right. It's like we've seen this on the news before. Kids playing around in a bathroom. They get into a fight. Somebody hits their head. Next thing you know, kid's unconscious in the hospital and the kid's in juvie. Didn't know what he was getting himself into. Same situation. He's a grown man. Like,
yeah, I mean, I also just think that, speaking on the game in general, I mean, Michigan State goes out there, gets blown out, and then I saw a tweet that said, where was all this energy, during the game? You had 60 minutes to put your hands on people legally, and you didn't do it. You got blown out. And then now after the game, you want to turn into, you know what I'm saying, you want to be tough guy. Like, I always hated that, I always hated when you go and, like, say, putting it into football terms for us, you go pancake someone, right? You go pancake a linebacker or something like that. And then he gets up and he gets up and he's all up in your face and stuff like that and be like, hey, tough guy. Like, if you were so tough, you wouldn't have got pancaked. All right. So, like, get out of my face with all that. You know what I'm saying? That is like a similar situation to what happened. Like, Michigan tore that tail up.
Yeah.
And now Michigan State want to go into the locker room and act like they big and bad and stuff. Like, it just don't make a lot of sense to me. But hey, I mean,
I couldn't have said it any better.
Hey, each his own, I guess.
You gonna talk that talk? You better do it while it's legal.
Right. Like, show me you about it on the field. Like, if you really, that guy. But
that's funny. Well, moving on to the next thing we got on the schedule, the top 25, week 10. These are the first rankings posted yesterday on November 1st. Hold on. Side note, bro, I made this tweet yesterday. I don't understand the whole playing the Christmas music everywhere so early. Like, I just apparently November 1st is like the official Halloween. We all know when the quote unquote important holiday is. Let's just skip over Thanksgiving. And yeah. So for those of you who don't know, my birthday is November 6th. So I'm a Scorpio, November child. I'm light skinned. My name starts with a J, and everything else that you see on social media that says that people like me are bad. I'm also an athlete. So anyways, back to the whole Christmas in November thing. Like, I think I'm a fan of the buildup of Christmas more so than the actual holiday itself. Like, Thanksgiving, I look at Thanksgiving as part of that buildup, like part of the whole Black Friday. It's getting cold outside. College football is still going on. Everything is still like, you can go outside and feel a nice breeze, but it won't hurt. Like November is just like the supreme month, like when you get to like, so what are you gonna say? Go ahead.
It's great. I mean, both of our birthdays are in November, so that automatically puts it on top. I mean, I'm a fat boy at heart. Okay. So, I love Thanksgiving, quite frankly. I love to eat. So I was like, we're not just going to skip over Thanksgiving. Okay. Black
Bro.
Friday is amazing. And like you said, football's going on, and really football, like this is when real football starts. Like this is when it starts getting, at the end of December towards Christmas, football's about to end. Football's about to end. So, like, why are we just, I don't know why we're skipping over Thanksgiving, but hey.
I don't get it. Because honestly, when you get to the Christmas, the closer I'm not going to lie, the week of Christmas, I kind of get depressed because, well, I don't actually get depressed, but I kind of get sad because Christmas Day isn't as fun as Thanksgiving Day. I don't know if I don't know. Like me personally, I don't know if other families do it different. Like the older I get, the less I care about the gifts, and the more I care about the thankfulness, the gratefulness, and the happiness of Thanksgiving. Because like when on Thanksgiving Day, you're like still happy about the rest of the year. On Christmas Day, after you open the gifts, it's like, dang, I got to go to work January 1st. So that's how I look at it.
More so for me, I agree with what you said. More so for me though, when I think about Thanksgiving versus Christmas, as I've gotten older, I guess Christmas probably was like I like Christmas before, probably because I was young and gifts and all that other stuff. But as I get older, I'm starting to really appreciate being with family. Like I'm a huge family guy, this. And I'm starting to appreciate being with family more and just kicking it and, seeing them. And, obviously we don't get a chance to go home during Thanksgiving. Maybe once through my college career, I've had a chance to go home. But, just being able to, like, Thanksgiving, when you get together with your family and, what I'm saying, you're just kind of kicking it, eating it, like that just seems like that's just a lot more meaningful to me than Christmas at this point in my life. So, in terms of like, the actions that go on during that day. Now, don't get me wrong. The meaning of Christmas is important, but just in terms of the actions that go on during that day, I think that it means a little bit more to me at this point in my life for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is a lot less stressful too, because it's not like on Christmas you're thinking about gifts, you're thinking about what you're going to get for other people, making sure it's the right one, making sure everything's wrapped,
right.
On Thanksgiving, it's like it never changes. Like there's going to be dressing, there's going to be turkey or ham or whatever your choice is. Like you don't got to think too hard, bro. Let's just show up. Either you're cooking or you're helping or you're cleaning up and you pig out. It's very simple. So
you're like me, and I don't do any of that. I just show up and eat.
Same, bro. Same. I didn't want to be the one to say that, so I'm glad you said it first.
I mean, my family knows what's up. I mean, when they know when I walk in the door and I haven't been at Thanksgiving for the last couple of years, they know what I'm there for. They know why I'm here.
Right. Well, bro. Getting back on topic, that was our little segue. All right, y'all, moving on to our final part of the show, our Baylor breakdown, presented to you by Mr. Willie. All right, so Brayden, I got a couple fun facts on Baylor. So Oklahoma is 28-3 versus the Baylor Bears and is 13-2 versus the Bears in Waco. We've lost to Baylor 3 times. And 2 of those 3 times, I'm pretty sure I was playing. Oh, that can't be right. Is that right?
Maybe unless y'all lost to them 17, but we've only lost to them while we were in college once, and that was last year.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just Googled that, and that was the first thing that popped up. However, you mentioned earlier that it's been a great week of practice. You got the breakdown. Tell us what you're thinking. What are your thoughts? And put us on.
Yeah, so, I mean, as you know, David ran the team. They're going to be tough. They're going to be physical. They're going to play hard. Defensive-minded team. They do a good job on offense. They do a good job running the ball. That's what they want to do. They want to run the ball. They want to be physical. They want to go downhill. Then they do a good job in the screen game. They do a really good job in the screen game. They do a lot of creative stuff. Get the running back out, do a couple little screens to the receivers, do screens to the tight ends, just try to get, different matchups. I think their running back leads the Big 12 in touchdowns. Number 29, he has, I think, 12 touchdowns on the year, I want to say. And he's had 5 touchdowns and about 300 yards in the last 2 games. So that's obviously a guy that we're going to have to keep tabs on. We're going to have to try to, shut down the run. As in most games, whoever wins the ground battle, wins the trenches, is probably going to win, And then on defense, they're a 4-down team, play a lot of cover 4, a lot of cover 2 that we've seen. And then they're just, they pride themselves on toughness and physicality. Yeah. So nothing that we haven't seen, They do some funky stuff sometimes in terms of like blitzing, and that. You remember what was it, last year or 2 years ago when they were doing like some crazy stuff and we're like, what?
Yes.
Like, what so they do some different, some funky stuff, but
unorthodox.
There we go. But I think we have a good plan of attack, and we had a great practice. We've had 2 great practices, Monday, Tuesday. Got to follow that up with a good one today and the rest of the week. But yeah, that's kind of what the Baylor Bears are about. Aggressive mindset on special teams. Want to return. They got some good returners. Guys that can make you miss. Obviously their coach is aggressive, and it's gonna be a big time challenge. It's a good team, man. That's another 5-3 team that has taken some tough losses against good teams, but they're just as good as anybody else. So
I will say that I agree with you in terms of them being a tough team, because you look at the record, right? They've beat a tough Oklahoma State they lost to a tough Oklahoma State by 11 points, lost to West Virginia by 3. And other than that, they beat up on Kansas, I don't think they had their quarterback then, but they played Iowa State close, and the rest of their games weren't really blowouts or anything. So looking at them from a scores and stats point of view, it all seems to be fairly close. And I'm looking at their season leaders for rushing and receiving. And you're right. This Richard Reese kid, their running back, has more carries, but less yards than our guy, E.G. Richard has 152 carries for 791. E.G., the man, the make-a-miss man, has 117 carries for 796 yards. Eric has 6 touchdowns. Richard has 12. And they also don't have a dominant receiver. So their number one receiver only has 22 receptions, 3 touchdowns. And their quarterback isn't attempting to throw the ball very much. So that all coincides with what you just said in terms of them relying on the run game. But one thing I'm always looking forward to is seeing my man Brayden ball out. Okay, so it don't matter about them. It's all about us, bro. And I say us because I'm a former Sooner. I say we and us a lot. So thank you for the preview. Thank you for the breakdown. I'm looking forward to it. Wait, is the game home or away? I don't even know the schedule.
Home. 2 p.m. home.
2 p.m. Okay. 2 p.m. home game, showtime. I might pull up. Bro, it's so funny I ask you that because it kind of it's a testament to what we said earlier this season about never knowing when the games are or when we're
done a really
playing.
Good job this year of remembering the times, and I think the reason why I've remembered the times this year is because because we're not ranked or anything like that, you really can't every week we're kind of like getting like it's always to be announced, and then they announce it and I see it or something, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I remember the times a little bit better this year.
I want to break down something really quick before we let our fans go. We mentioned just a few seconds ago about Baylor being unorthodox, and I just want the fans to be able to understand what we mean by that. Baylor does not always play what we call a traditional 3-4, 4-3, especially when it comes to blitzing, right? So in football, for anyone who's a coach or a former player, you're going to already know this, but for those who are our average listeners, when you're looking at blitzing, you want to make sure that you're covering every gap, or at least as many gaps as possible. And normally that involves one player being in one gap, another player being in another gap, and then you're playing man on the backside, whether it be with the DBs, backside linebackers, however you want to structure it. But Baylor does not always adhere to the traditional one man and one gap, make sure they cover one guy on the back. Like sometimes they'll leave a guy open on purpose. Sometimes they'll put two in one gap and just force you to react to what they have going on. So that's what we've seen in the past. Honestly, I don't know how much we'll see of that this weekend, because their guys that they were doing that with went to the NFL. So that's partially why they're not as successful as they were last year. However, I just wanted to make sure that we explained that point before we let it go. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for this episode of the Podcast on the Prairie. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. We love you. Brayden, you got anything left for the people?
See y'all Saturday.
Yes, sir. Ski art, y'all.
Yeah, this is